Hello and welcome to Bobo Buns So Vintage Life. It's super to have you join me here today. What I'm going to share with you is some things that I've made and things that I'm working on, and a few recent finds and something amazing that has totally inspired me and lifted me up that I saw this week. So lots of different things to discuss with you today. More of a catch-up chat really, I guess. You can see behind me my Vampire's Wife inspired skyrocket dress that I shared with you a few videos ago. You know, my inspiration, how I was coming up with a design. I am going to show you more about this. I just wanted to refer to it and show you that the bodice is made, the sleeves are in. I've got to put the facings on for the sleeves and the neckband, the neck ruffle, and there were some choices that I made that I deviated from my original plan of doing a V, you know, shapes all around the A-line skirt into the waistline of the bodice, because I realised I just hadn't got time. I've got so many other projects I'm working on alongside going to work and all sorts of other things that I just realised I've probably got 2 days maximum to get that dress done in time for the graduation. So choices had to be made to be sensible. That's where she's at. I've also sort of parked for a bit something else I've been working on, and this is the Cocoa dress that was my Patreon's project for, I'm trying to think which month we did this, I believe it was May. I just absolutely love this dress. I've already made one. This one I love too, but I've just got to put the zip in the side. It's kind of tacked in here, but it just got put to one side, sadly. The original one, the one that I made for my patrons, was in this lovely blue. It's like a blue viscose rayon. Yeah, so really love that. The double bows. I mean, I'm wearing a Bet dress from my patron. This is from last year's patron, with the bust darts coming out this way, and I really love this one too. This is in a vintage Liberty lawn, so I was really lucky to find the fabric. And my hair is driving me bonkers. It's being cut tomorrow. Roots need dyeing, so yeah, my hair feels like it's doing its own thing. So Alex will hopefully vavoom me and I will feel much happier with what's on my head currently. Now, some other makes that I've got. These are makes for other people and for my daughters. I will show you, rather than putting these all on Foxy Lady. This was a Ganni top. This is the third one I've made. My youngest daughter asked me to make her one, so I made her one in black for her birthday. To which my oldest daughter Rosie said, oh gosh, I really want one, and she wanted one in white with black bows, and I did white top stitching on there. They look absolutely fantastic in these. And then I made Millie a creamy one with flowers in the print. And such is my love. They're really fun tops to make. It was a pattern I got off Etsy rather than drafting my own, and I French seam all of them. If you can see inside, everything's French seamed. I always sew my sleeves in flat, then I can French seam those too. And my brain has totally forgotten what this fabric's called. You know, it's like the muslin you have for babies' cloths, but it's a Dobby muslin. It is so soft. I absolutely love this in this blush pink. I'm really tempted to get some of this fabric for myself. And this was from my local fabric store. So we're nearly done. I've just got to sew the elastic in the sleeves and then add the bows on. And this one's for Rosie also. And she wears a lot of black, and I thought this would be brilliant for her with, you know, black things for work. Or you can just wear it as a little jacket over a dress or whatever you want to do. So I'm really enjoying making that, but I must finish it. I start these things and then I realise, oh, I've got to do something for Patreon, or I've got to do something for a tutorial, or, oh, you know, it's just... Now, in my last video, I showed you the toile I was working on for this pattern here, the Hawthorn Blouse by Wearing History. And I showed you like a mustardy yellow sort of spot that I was going to make it in. But I also showed you this fabric I then found at the weekend, this lovely black, sort of very graphic sort of print. And I couldn't resist just getting on and making it in this. I was happy with my toile, and I've made some alterations to the pattern slightly. I chose to put a zip in the side, and I've taken in the dart so it's more fitted. So yeah, it's a pop over your head one, but I've got a side zip in it. So here it is with the buttons, and if you see up close, because of that top stitched area around here, I really wanted to pick up that detail, so I've used the embroidery stitch on my machine, so it just makes it more obvious. Because if I open it, sorry, I'm trying to stand in funny angles rather than putting these all on Foxy Lady. If I open it here, you couldn't get it on without opening these front buttons to make the neck open a bit wider, so you can see that opens there. And I've got my side invisible zip in here. Yes, I'm really pleased with this. Just got to sew the hem up. I've bias bound the hem, so I've just got to sew that in place, and that matches the little bit of pink bias binding that's here inside the collar. So really enjoying it. I can't wait to wear that. Something else that I made recently and I've been enjoying wearing is a new summer bouquet corsage. I made this as a tutorial for my patrons. It's the first of this month, and my original one was this from 1940s felt. It's really faded and looking quite shabby. You will have seen me wearing this in various videos. And then I made a newer one in these brighter colour felts, but for my tutorial I chose more sort of pastel-y colours, so it's a real change, but it's just adorned myself with lots of flowers. That's the point of them, bringing summer cheer all year round to whatever outfit you're wearing. So really, I mean, I just love making these. They're such fun things to do, and I love working with felt. So yeah, I've got a new corsage to wear as well. Summer bouquet corsage. I wore that on Saturday when we went out. Yeah, after teaching on Saturday, we popped to a lovely haberdasher's in a market town near where we used to live, and it was their final day, other than they're going to have a big closing down sale for a week, but it was their final day of trading. And so my daughter bought some wool that's called Eeyore. It really is the colour of Eeyore too, so she bought some wool to knit a little tank top for herself and some patterns, and she pulled out this wool, and I prefer using drops, as you know, with my knitting videos, but she said, how soft is this? And it really is. It's Hayfield's bonus DK and royal teal, 100% acrylic. I don't like using acrylics, but the colour and how soft it is just glorious. And now I haven't decided on the knit. I got enough to do a jumper or a cardigan, but I just bought it because, I mean, everything was 30% off and I loved it, and yeah, I do love blue. So that, I've got enough balls of that to do something with. I'm hopping all over the place with things on my timeline. It's just as I see things, I pick them up. Last night I went to visit a dear friend, and she's having to move house, so having a big clear out. And I came home with some lovely bits of china, but also this sewing box. I've got 2 others already, but always need places to store our sewing bits and bobs. It just needs a little bit of TLC, and then it's stuffed full of loads of lovely bias binding and ribbons and all sorts of bits and bobs in here. So I love this one. That's really pretty. If you can see that one there, is it coming up? Always just wait for things to sort of get sharp in the monitor. So yeah, that's really lovely. Okay, my other latest acquisitions, I got these 3 of these. One I'd already had, but 3 from Oxfam's online bookshop, which is a great resource. I always go like to World of Books, Abe Books, or Oxfam, or just, you know, bricks and mortar vintage shops to find the books. And I was searching for these particular ones, and I found them at Oxfam. I was thrilled to get this pattern cutting book. It's is it by Margaret Mellier, and it's fantastic. I will show you inside these books too. This one, I mean, it says on the back, just noticed £7.95 originally, but it was going for upwards of £70. It's not what I paid for it. I just searched and searched till I got a really good deal on it. So really thrilled with this book. It's brilliant. then I managed to add 2 more to my Natalie Bray books. I've got her dress fitting book, and I just adore this cover. It's a marvellous cover, isn't it? So I've got her dress fitting, and then I got from the Oxfam shop these 2. Show you. Dress pattern designing and more dress pattern designing, and they are absolutely fabulous too. So if you, like me, enjoy drafting your own patterns, or you're learning how to draft your own patterns, you know, pattern cut, then these are some fabulous. But I've got all sorts of books, as you can imagine, that I turn to for inspiration, to work out how to do certain things, you know, problem solve, and it helps my learning, because we are always learning, aren't we? Well, I'll show you a peek inside them, because they are absolutely fantastic. Now currently for my patrons, and it's what I'm going to get back to doing now, for my upper tier Trixie patrons, I'm working on something in this amazing fabric here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's sort of like an oil painting of a summer garden to me. I don't normally like wearing like a stony sort of background, but how it sets off these flowers, absolutely love. And I am really thrilled with what I'm making. I hope they are too. It's just so glorious, with my theme of bringing summer in when it's maybe not so sunny as you'd like. I'm wanting to wear bolder florals and bring that joy in. Now, in terms of thinking about florals and gardens, that brings me to what we did on Monday of this week. We went to we went to 2 amazing exhibitions. First of all, we went to Sargent and Fashion. So I drove down to London very early in the morning, and we park out far out in the East End, tube it in, and then I think we got off at Embankment and walked up the river to the Tate, which was really lovely. And what I wanted to see was this. Sargent Fashion. I have long adored John Singer Sargent since I discovered him at art college, and to see his paintings up close and some of the clothes that were painted that the models wore, and I was blown away and inspired. And my daughter went to see 400 Years of Women in Art, so Women Artists, it's called Now You See Us. Like all women's history or herstory, it's about how women couldn't paint or weren't allowed to exhibit. They were denied their place, but they managed to paint despite the odds. They had no training, and photographed everything we could, so then we could do a show and tell to each other when we got home. And it was incredible what she saw, and she was buzzing from it too. And then after the Tate, we'd planned to go over to the Garden Museum, so it's a short walk over the Lambeth Bridge to the Garden Museum on the other side of the river, and we went to see women artists in Bloomsbury. So Bloomsbury Women Outdoors, and it was incredible also. It featured Ottilie Morell, Vanessa Bell, Vita Sackville West and Virginia Woolf, all women that have fascinated me all my life. I mean, I read Woolf at university, I visited Monk's House where Virginia Woolf lived, Charleston Farmhouse where her sister Vanessa Bell and a coterie of amazing thinkers and artists all lived and met. If you've never been to Charleston Farmhouse, then I highly recommend it. It's still after visiting it many years ago, I still have within me the sense of absolute joy and the power of their creativity that exudes from this building when you go in, and it just is a happy place. I'm hoping later this summer to take my youngest daughter down there so we can go see an exhibition in Lewes of two amazing lesbian artists. Can't remember their names off the top of my head at the moment. And take her to Charleston. And we also want to go to Lee Miller's house, Farley, where she lived with her surrealist artist husband. Lee Miller, again, another woman who is just amazing and fascinating. So yeah, I just want to give her more of a culture tour. Just all of these women, and Ottoline and Vita, both 6 foot like me, both tall women. I'd like to do more of a talk about them because, yeah, just incredible, and I adore the way they dress. And oh, you can tell I'm buzzing. It was just so wonderful. It's a small exhibition, but to see that and to see Sargent was just a top day. And obviously focusing on the love of colour, textile, print, the way people present themselves, how intrinsic fashion is to who we are and how we form our identities, and we make that statement out there in the world. So keep on sewing is really important, and it's not just about the sewing, it's about finding that inspiration wherever you may go. I really enjoyed doing this catch up with you. It's always lovely to stop, catch your breath and say, this is what I'm doing at the moment. So thank you for taking the time to spend a bit of time here with me today. If you don't already, please subscribe, comment below so I can chat with you, let people know I'm over here, because it's lovely to get to know more people. And until next time, I think we do a tutorial or something, aren't we? Yeah, I think there'll be some other things like that coming up next. But until then, I shall say farewell. Happy sewing, everyone. Bye bye for now.